Well, hello, folks. Top Gun here with you, and I got a good one for you today. We're going to have a look at the market charts, what's happening in the markets, folks. Are you excited for that? Have a little look because we had a little rally in X. Whoa, I know, right? So let's have a look at what's going on in Bitcoin because, yeah, I might have actually called out the bottoms right on X consistently. So let's start off and have a look at the market. And we're going to have a look at my lead indicator, US oil. It has finally fallen out of its trend. The trend is your friend until the end, which means there's going to be some adjustments for me to make to mark the basically new trend lines. But this kind of plummet, we had one back in, wait for it, there we go, back in March, where oil prices topped but then continued to fight. So is this the end, or could we correct and still see higher highs? Gotta wait and see what's going on. But we are having some slowdowns like Philly. Manufacturing is slowing down slightly. So there is, the economy is starting to take some pressure and fall apart a little bit. So demand is being crushed. We'll see if there is another resurgence, but at the moment, this is not an all-on indicator to buy. The dollar is coming down, so normally you'd see markets going up when oil's crashing and the dollar's crashing, but we still see some red going on in the market. We've had a lot going on here. SPX crashed a little bit out. NASDAQ stayed inside, funny enough, because it's the more volatile of them. And, still got a lot of nasty trading. So do we have really a lot of room for a rally or rebound in the market? Oil came down. The market was a little excited yesterday and traded up, but I think it's just basically some sideways action as the market's still really confused as it doesn't know how to price anything because it's all overpriced. So coming over to look at Bitcoin as a commodity, what trends have I seen? So I faded to the background on my last video, the old standing trend. However, the bottom line of that trend, I have made large again. So what's going on with all these lines? Basically anything in red, think of it as a line of support. It should hopefully keep the price elevated up. Anything in green, think of that as a line of resistance that starts to form, something where it's going to be hard for it to get over. So basically these blue lines are just previous stepping spots in history. If we go back to the past, we can see what areas Bitcoin price has taken moments to do something in the past. And since we can see that, those are likely stepping stones in the present. With that, then we can see the trends. We can kind of see what's starting to go on. So if history doesn't always exactly repeat, but it likes to rhyme, we see the way that Bitcoin rode 30K or 29K. Now we're down at 20K. So likely between this green line and this blue line, we're going to see some sideways action again. How long will that last? Unknown. How long till we get to the agitation point where not enough room to move up and down, so it chooses up or down. Well, that looks like the 10th of July. So I mean, we're looking at a couple of weeks of some sideways action possibly. What does Ethereum think? Because Ethereum is still trading above that support line. If we go look at Ethereum, I have orange as those. Delete that. I have orange as those lines. So maybe make it a little more clear if I make things similar. So orange, this is the faded line. Boom. Orange, the faded line, because it is now irrelevant. Well, at least it was on Bitcoin. It's still relevant here. So let's make it the lighter green. Yeah, so we should make this red actually. There. So this yellow trend seems to be the most common current trend. I should probably mark it out, but we haven't had the same breaking with Bitcoin or with Ethereum. So many assets. So we've got some room to trade in this channel going sideways at the same time Bitcoin does, because that's what Ethereum's doing, but it's just a little more healthier inside the trends. So if Ethereum starts to take lead over Bitcoin, We could see some healthier market action instead of things following Bitcoin around. We'll see how that plays out. But while Ethereum is moving like this, let's take a look at Hex. Ooh, I know it still looks scary for the amount it's dropped, but Ethereum just goes sideways and drops, like stairs falling down. Hex, up and down. Oh, there's volume tradability. That's kind of awesome. And oh, what did I say over the weekend on Friday and then again on Sunday? And then what did we have? I think I even telegrammed it. I might have tweeted the fact that, oh, we had at least a 33% increase due, and we topped out at 60% and started coming back down. So, Hex, and we still haven't come down that hard. Hex right now, it's all moving so fast that the daily isn't really enough to track it. So we move into the 4-hour. All right, the 4-hour shows some slowdown, and that's all right. This is consolidation territory, so we can play out along this line for the next day, moving a little sideways ourselves, and see if we can have some gusto to continue up if we found a holding bottom while the pain continues in the market, or if we'll come back down and test some previous lows. We double bottomed, which is nice, off 2.9, but that doesn't mean we're not going to test it again. We have a low to make and then another surge up, and in that pattern where they dictate will kind of tell me a little bit more about the future, what kind of trend might be setting, because Hex has definitely gone on its own journey outside of the market. So could it have found a tradable bottom for right now? That's where I think so. I called this a little bit of rally, and gotta say, the tea leaves are not telling me 100% what it's going to do next. As you can see, we've dropped down into our oversold conditions, and we're thinking about making red impressions on the Instagram, but that's where, right here, as challenging as it got, we got to red here, but even in the oversold conditions, it stayed green. So in the oversold conditions, if it stays green, we shouldn't drop below 3.5 cents. And if that holds out, we should have consolidated a little more buy pressure to break 4.5 cents and test for 6. That is a possible flight plan of Hex. Another possible flight plan is to fall all the way down to 2.3 cents. I can't see the future. The tea leaves just don't tell me that kind of pain is coming. Because once we hit oversold, well, that's where the maximum pain is, and the price didn't really come down a whole lot. So if we stay here for a while, it could fall down and falter. It depends on what the market does this week and Bitcoin does this week. But yeah, we're lining up, as far as I'm concerned, to retest 3.5 or to break through here and go and test 6. So 50-50. Do we go down a little or up a lot? That's questionable. It's really questionable, because I would say if this were a bull market, hands down buy. Everything is indicating this is a great moment, but this is not a bull market, it's a bear market, and anything can happen out in the world. Although the winds seem to be changing, where the US might be pushing for some peace relations. Go ahead, keep your pieces and let everything stop. Maybe drop the sanctions and yada yada yada. So all that's coming out of the market. So inflation driving fears and economic worries, fundamentals are going to be in the driver's seat, it looks like, if nothing pressing happens, at least until election season. But that'll still be a hot topic of election season. So we'll see how this goes, folks. But Hex kind of called a little bit of a bottom, and we double bottomed off it. So Hex does not really feel the need right now to come down and retest this unless major pain starts coming to the market this week. I think we could see back to 6 cent Hex. Outlook, shaking the 8 ball, the crystal ball. Outlook, not so bad for 6 cents, but we could still leg down and retest this. It's just, even looking here, we had correction over this, went up and came down and retested it. So technically, we've had our bottom testing off this, And yeah, let's get in and look even closer on the 1 hour. How quickly are things trading here? Whew, back and forth, back and forth. All right, some major pain, and we only came down to retest 3.5. All right, with these peaks. Yeah, we could see a little more pain coming through the evening. Basically, today's trading will tell a little bit more through the hourly story. Will we come back down to retest this 3.7, or will we break on through to test 6 cents? That's the question of the day. And the technicals right now, the volume trading is slowing down a little bit today. We had a huge peak over yesterday. So with the volume trading dropping down a little bit, excitement, steam is falling out of it a little bit. The hourly is telling me a little more that can't say for certain. Can't say for certain. It's early in the morning. The day still has to go. But it's exciting for me as, hey, there's actually room for it to go up. It doesn't feel like such a certainty that it's going to come down. And I'm actually leaning towards testing 6 cents. The volume is slowing down a little bit. So yeah, I find it useful to look at the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the daily sometimes. So you can see that real peak of volume through yesterday evening during the 4 hour. Overnight it's died out, but we could see another peak up of volume today. There's a lot of possibility in the air and a bit of uncertainty over HEX, and that is what I find exciting today. Will 3 cents be, question of the day, will 3 cents or 2.9 be the tested double bottom that holds a little bit of a rally? Can we get back to test 8 or 10 cents? Questions of the day. We'll know more after today's trading if we can break this line or if we're going to be traveling down to test along it. So yeah, by tomorrow I'll know if there's another flash for if we're going for 6 cents. Be keeping an eye on this one. If we break 4.5, there's no reason we won't make it up to 6. So we'll see how the day plays out, won't we? We'll have to see how the day plays out. But yeah, running out of steam a little bit, so we might have topped out this rally, but I don't think we have a lot down to come again. Like, I've already played between this range for the 24-hour cycle. This is decision territory, decision. So basically, this is our little consolidation moment when we punch back up to 6 cents and trade in that range. We'll see today, folks. That's my optimism and my hope for the day. There's a little range in HEX, but I'm not a financial advisor, and today is not a day where I'm buying. Back here on this red was a day when I was buying, and yeah, vicariously. No powder in the keg, but a couple of friends made purchases based on my chart analysis, and then they made gains and they're happy. I couldn't make the gains because I didn't have powder in the keg, but such is life. So for now, we'll see what HEX is going to do throughout the week, as it tends to guide some new trends. Because we are seeing upward momentum, but is it sustainable? That's the question, or is it just a little dead cat bounce? I think there's more in this rally, but there is more pain to come. So earlier in my thesis, I did point out what happened when Ethereum bottomed out after its first major peak run, and it traded sideways in its bear market in a range. And I might have a suspicion that that range is between the boldest green line and the boldest red line. That is probably the trading range of HEX for the next little while, until Pulse Chain comes out and changes the game up. So, hope you enjoyed that, folks. Hope that's a little bit of hopium. There is still lots of room to short Bitcoin if you're holding the kind of assets to do that. Yep, Bitcoiners, bring the hate. It is not buy signal time for Bitcoin. There's still more pain to come. Same with Apple, same with the SPX, same with the NASDAQ. If I had the positions to be able to short those, I would be on the Michael Burr side of the fence and be following his movements, because I don't think he is early this time. If we look back into the past for a little more information and we look into the 2008 crisis, we saw the same thing. We saw that oil continued to surge higher, while throughout the year to date, NASDAQ and SPX came down. And in July 17th of 2008, oil started getting crushed. Not this year, 2008. And oh, yeah, we're in June instead of July, so a month early. We start seeing some splits, some pain for the inflation game. But you know what happened after oil finally started coming down, folks? That's when the real pain started in the NASDAQ and the SPX, which means what we've seen so far isn't the real pain. And if that's the case and inflation's coming down, the thesis is pretty simple. If enough people are running out of money because things cost enough, then they're going to sell their assets to pay for food and basic needs. Assets even including Bitcoin. If it comes down to starving to death or buying groceries with your Bitcoin, Bitcoin's not very useful to you if you're dead from starvation. So there are more institutions in it at this level and more funds where it's not personal people that'll be in that same corner making that decision, but there's more leverages and room for liquidations. So it's a different picture, different story, but still lots of reasons for sell pressure to still hit Bitcoin. It still has quite a bit to fall. But like I noticed and I loved that when we had the pain stretch bang in Ethereum here, which you'd think Hex is priced in a little bit of it, it would have felt the exact same pain. It went no further, found a bottom, and started trading up. That's why it just completely broke correlation. It went nope, Hex is finally going to do its thing, and said nope, no further. Like all that pain, Hex just went no, we're going to round out and teacup. This is a reversal signal, a teacup forming pattern. Now the reversal signal, all-time new highs? No. Reversal signal, disentradability? Yes. I am not a financial advisor. So, yeah. Who calls the Hex bottoms consistently? This guy. Alright, Richard Hart can have the Bitcoin tops. I am going to call the Hex bottoms. That'll be my thing. So, yeah, unfortunately today I am just talking about my excitement in Hex, what I'm looking for movement for the future, to see what we're going to do, because in the overbought conditions and everything, there's a little room for connection or a little bit of correction and a loss of steam. If the volume doesn't pick up today, if we don't see some more flattering news, I think we'll see a tradability in this range, but we're going to come down along this blue line a little bit before breaking it instead of being so bullish and cracking out of it at the top. So yeah, I think we'll see a little sideways action to consolidate before we know our next move of really up or down. But our consolidation sideways action means today, maybe tomorrow as well, before I have a clear picture of the next movement of Hex. Bitcoin and Ethereum, well, Bitcoin has weeks it can move sideways. Ethereum at least has a little less room, a week and a half, before it starts to indicate something that's going to happen. That's why I think Ethereum is going to lead the next movement and not Bitcoin. The trends, it has the decision range first. And I don't think it's going to make a good decision. When it falls, it'll drag Bitcoin, so it won't get to ride out this flag as long as it looks before it comes down to test more. That's my thesis, and I'm sticking to it, folks. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for tuning in. Smash that like and subscribe button. And until next time, stay frosty.